What's up guys, OJ here. Welcome back to the FMU channel. So we got a pretty exciting project where we've teamed up with Lexus North America's central office to outfit the outgoing J150 chassis of the GX460 with some off-road goodies in hopes of building some aftermarket hype for the incoming GX550 J250 platform. The modifications they were asking us about reminded us of a project we did a while back.
A few years ago, we made a video called 5th Gen 4Runner 35 Tire Fitment, the cheapest way. As someone who has experience with different car cultures, I've noticed that true off-roading enthusiasts are pretty vocal about builds that don't meet the trail-rated standards. So we came up with a plan for some modifications that would not need to be undone later when the long travel suspension kit was installed. Things like a light body lift, fender modification, and body chop are all things commonly done with any 5th Gen 4Runner running 35s. But honestly, this rig was built for parking lot flexing. So I knew a cheapest 35 video wouldn't be the most 4x4 builder's cup of tea. The video got 50,000 views, but the comment section was where the real action was at.
So I was pretty entertained by some of your, I'll call them constructive comments. So we're taking a page out of Jimmy Kimmel's book and we're gonna be reading a few of our favorites. Jen Zhang 2695 wants us to know, pretty sure this is a mall crawler and will not touch dirt. Why buy two-wheel drive when you plan to put 35s? Two wheels are not recommended for lifting with super heavy tires as it puts too much stress on the axles, suspension, etc. Most lift kits don't make anything for two-wheel drive and are not recommended. This is the case of bad planning and a waste of mod money, LOL. If you're spending that much money for tires and customization, just get a four-wheel drive. End of story. ZXROM7867 has a suggestion. LOL spacers everywhere. This thing needs a mall-rated sticker with mall terrain tires. Extreme Zyong had some advice. This shop is making a lot of money modifying a rig that shouldn't be getting these mods. Who owns this rig? We should tell the owner to stop before they drop more money on this thing. NoCo Garden said, the 5th gen completely sucks on 33s without changing your gears. I can't imagine how terrible 35s would be. It would be completely undrivable. Extreme Zyong is back with more to say. This owner budgeted for a two-wheel drive 4Runner and then he goes and lifts it on spacers and throws 35 tires on it. Definitely a mall crawler. The BMC with the spacer is overkill and they even had to chop his fenders. Oh, hell no. The technician says hopefully he doesn't do any heavy off-roading. I hope he doesn't do any heavy mall crawling with this rig. And Michael B. Hawker 3556 has some questions. Who the fuck mods a two-wheel drive like that for off-roading? All right, now that we've had a good laugh, let's get down to business. Why are we highlighting the 4Runner we put 35s on with a mean tweets video? Well, consider this a sequel, bitch. So buckle up. We're going off-roading again. That's right, we're gonna be fitting 35s again, but this time it's on a brand new GX460 that's actually four-wheel drive. So maybe we'll avoid a bit of the hate. All right, so we've got a ton of parts that have to go on this 2023 GX460 and we are short on time. We've got approximately 2 weeks to get this thing at the Autobahn for a Lexus event where they'll be showing off this car kind of as a precursor to the newly arriving GX platform. In order to get this thing to look its most off-road worthy, we're gonna be trying a formula that we like to go with, that is 35s on this vehicle. Now 35s are a bit of a trick to kind of get on there. Now it's never just as easy as putting on 35s. We've got a lift kit, we've got some rock sliders, and we're gonna have to make modifications to the frame and various aerodynamic components in order to get this thing to work. On top of that, it's fluid MotorUnion, so we're gonna wanna try to get something done with the exhaust too. So as you can see, we're pretty short on time. First things first is we gotta get the wheels on here, but already you can see that even if we have the increased clearance from a lift kit, the wider the tire you go with, the closer we're gonna get to these corners here. So right now the goal is get all the parts removed, get the wheels on there and see what we're gonna have to trim and modify. So let's get at it.
Yes, we know that fitting 35s on this rig might not be the optimal setup for this particular vehicle to do actual off-roading. However, Lexus of North America contacted us to build this badass looking overland style rig with a small budget in a 1.5 week time frame. This obviously rules out spending thousands on a long travel suspension. But 35s look so good, so sure, it's mostly for looks. But hey, who doesn't love a good-looking ride? If you can cut straight, modifying the factory side steps for the CBI rock sliders was no problem. And of course, no overland build is complete without a roof rack. We got this one from New.
These are the wheels we're going to attempt to mount on here. They're 35s, general grabbers. It's got a pretty aggressive tread design, method racing wheels. Should look pretty good.
I have those.
If you can fit them on your car.
We got this 2.5-inch lift kit from Bilstein that has these springs, which, as you can see, are a little bit taller, as well as a full set of 5100 series Bilstein shocks to go all around the vehicle. Now, as far as installation is concerned, it's really pretty straightforward. I mean, this thing disassembles the exact way it goes back in. The only difference really being the front, which requires a snap ring to adjust the height of the factory spring. Other than that, you're basically just replacing components.
So similar to the 4Runner chassis, in order to fit 35-inch tires on this, we're going to be having to do something that we've done before, and which is really common. Believe it or not, fitting 35s on a GX isn't uncharted territory. It's been done fairly regularly, but we're going to have to take care of some things. One of the biggest hurdles is just going to be space to prevent rubbing. And the biggest area that rubs is this area right here, the body mount. What this is the portion where the body mounts to the frame. And as you can see here, there's quite a bit of room where this pokes out. Now, because of the tire size, when you turn the wheel will sweep back in and start to hit in this area. So the fix is to chop the mount and then resection it. Luckily, we have a fabrication shop chopping this section, boxing it back up, clearancing some of the bodywork that we already clearanced for the rock rails. Also getting creative up here with the bumper, doing maybe something known as a Viper cut. We're gonna kind of try to see the minimum amount that we can get away with cutting, because we still want this to look like a Lexus. We don't want this to look like a chopped up off-road rig. It's got to stay a little classy. So we'll be showing you how we'll line that up and try to get the clearance for that. So we got the suspension installed, but now the real work begins, because once we drop this thing on the ground and actually see where the ride height's going to be, we need to see how much room is going to need to be removed from the various components to make sure we've got enough clearance to run these tires, especially if they plan on doing any off-roading with it. This is the moment of truth. We're actually pretty good in the front. So we were prepared to do the body chop, which takes a segment off of the frame mount for the clearance of the tires when it's turned inward and when it's flexing. And so far, it actually looks like we're gonna have to do less work than we initially planned. Some is gonna have to come off the bumper, of course, but the thing we were worried about is having to maybe take a segment out of these running boards in order to get clearance, but that doesn't seem to be the limiting factor. The limiting factor is some body panels, which are actually something we can work with. I'm not too worried about it. The main goal here is to not do anything that makes the car look like it's been irreversibly modified. We're gonna be well within that parameter. This thing looks really good on these wheels, and it's only gonna look better as we continue the accessory installs we got planned.
And what good are bigger 35-inch tires and a 2.5-inch lift without some sort of increased approach clearance? So we went ahead and chopped up the bumper in order to increase the approach angle. That is, if this thing's coming up to rocks, the bumper's not going to be the first thing that hits. It's going to be that tire. But remember, this thing's a Lexus, so we got to keep it classy, and I think this line does that perfectly. With the requested modifications all finished up, we got it aligned, and that meant it was time to get on the road. Overall, I was very happy with how this thing was driving, but more so, this thing looks tough. It looks like it's ready for the off-road. but it still retains the fact that it's a Lexus. It looks classy, it looks luxurious, yet somehow it's still tough.
All right, so we just got to the Autobahn, and Lexus has told us they're going to be displaying the vehicle up front for their event that they're having here that's a week long. So I'm gonna go see if we can get it parked up on top of a rock so that we can display it properly.
Keep going, right there.
Good?
Yep.
All right, so we made it. We're on time, the car is here, and stage one of the build is complete. There you have it, folks. Our quick recipe on how to fit 35-inch off-road tires applied to a similar chassis in the most cost-effective way possible. What do you think? Another day, another modified ride? But you know, at Fluid Motor Union, we do much more than budget installs. We're here to help you achieve your vehicle goals, whether it's for off-roading or just looking cool in the mall parking lot. Don't forget to subscribe and come to our shop for any of your modification or installation needs. Until next time, drive safe.